Midnight Mayhem, by Elliott. Bolts of lightning struck out of the sky, the door wide open as John Bayliss returned home from the capital of Wales. His wife Nancy welcomed him home with a gaping and nice-smelling hug. "Hello, dog," she said. "Hi," he replied. John's dinner was waiting for him on the kitchen table. "Your dinner is on the table waiting for you," Nancy shouted across the house. "Thank you," he replied as he hung his coat on the hook beside him. Before John sat down to eat his dinner, he realized something odd. Very odd. Nancy painted her fingernails red. Her fingernails could not be more red, it was the reddest of the red. With a black outline, absolutely gruesome. Just gruesome. 2 hours passed slowly. The kids were upstairs, having fun. As all kids do, have fun. What they were doing, no one knows, but it was dead silent. Shards of rain thundered against the ground. John needed a snack, just a couple of hours after eating his dinner. He went to the fridge, he saw in it, nothing. Just bare dust. He made the decision to go to the shops. "Darling, I'm quickly popping out," he said in a calm tone. There was no reply, apart from a nod. That's it, just a nod. Out he went. John was weirdly rapid at getting in the car. Car door open. In. Car door closed. Engine ready. Driver ready. The car zoomed off in the darkness as it continued to rain heavily. Every drop of rain was a rocket. It was getting quite late, just before 9 o'clock in the evening, and John arrived at the shops. He liked going to the shops as he would get to see the shopkeeper Richard, one of his best friends. He entered, walking in a rather peculiar manner, standing tall, quite proud. "Just serving a customer, John. Be right with you in 30 seconds. You can count them." Back at the house it was nice and calm, very calm indeed. But Nancy was losing patience with the kids after trying to get them to come downstairs for dinner. "Hello," she yelled. No reply. She yelled even louder. "Hello." No reply. One more time. "Dinner's ready." And yet still, no reply. It's fair to say Nancy lost her cool. Back at the shops, shopkeeper Richard was ready to serve. "How may I help you?" 3 potatoes please." £4.62, sir." John gave over the money, with the shopkeeper giving the change in return. The shopkeeper put the potatoes in the bag, gave it to John, and off he went. He had no idea what had just happened on the way home. He was stuck. Truly stuck. Nancy was waiting patiently for him, taking sips from her cup of tea. Bizarrely she was giving herself a smug look in the mirror, but then she gave the mirror a violent punch, cracking it to countless pieces. She couldn't control herself. Hours later, it was past midnight now and car lights appeared in the driveway. It was bleak and misty. Out of the car door came John, drenched and looks like he's lived in the jungle for 1,000 years. The door creaked open. John looked ahead. All he saw, 2 corpses, lying on the ground. They were quite small corpses, rather strange. Nancy. Complete hesitation. No response. She was still just sipping her tea. Nancy. She jumped out of her chair in a flash. John, not knowing that what was lying on the floor, asked Nancy what on earth happened. As soon as Nancy saw the situation, she sprinted to the phone. 999 was immediately called. It was the basic conversation on the phone to an emergency. Nothing special. Minutes passed. The police arrived. John yelled upstairs to see if the kids were okay. "Are you all right up there?" Dead silent. No response whatsoever. How peculiar. The corpses were taken away. Early next morning, the kids were still astray. Nancy was left in tears downstairs, It appeared she woke up earlier than John. John tried to help. "Is there anything I could do, darling?" Still crying, she knew she made a mistake. The police were unable to find the true murderer, shocked and without a conclusion. John was talking to Nancy, curious about the murderer. It turned out Nancy was far too annoyed to say anything. "Are you okay, darling?" "I confess," yelled Nancy. She lost the plot. She picked up one of the raw potatoes John had left on the side, and threw it at the back of John's head as hard as she could. He collapsed. Nancy cried, wiping the blood off her fingernails. She had a knife stored in her back pocket, and a wild, raw potato